Welcome everybody to the Red Bull Ring and the first race of the weekend here for the KTM Crossbow Battle. The cars are lining up on the grid and getting ready to go racing for 25 minutes around the high-speed Red Bull Ring circuit. And we've got 13 cars all lined up on the grid then ready to go, and I think this high-speed track is really going to produce some good racing. We just had a quick look there at the grid for this race, and it was set after qualifying earlier on, and the field very evenly matched actually after that qualifying session, which ran cleanly as well, which was good news. We've had a few red flags in qualifying sessions today, but everything working well coming into this first race then, and the grid being cleared now. The car's about to head out onto their green flag lap. So a fascinating mix of cars here across three different classes. We've got the lone GT4 spec car up front of the field, that of Chris Rosenberger, and then we've got a group of the elite class drivers and then the Expo drivers themselves from about 6th or so down on the grid. So it's pretty early stages in the season as well, so no real clear favourites emerging in the championship as of yet, and that is exactly what we like to see, because it keeps us guessing as we try to see how the season is going to progress. Well, we've had two races already this season at the Slovakia Ring, and they produced a double race victory for Bob Bow in the elite class, and in the Expo Cup Europe it's Jans Ries who leads the championship coming into this round, but Jan did not qualify all that well, all the way down in 9th on the grid overall, which is 4th of the Expo Cup Europe competitors. So field then making its way off the line and heading towards the first corner. You can see they're being led there by the GT4 car, which is the only car with a roof. The other cars are all identical, and the drivers simply split by their experience and speed to either the elite or the Expo Cup Europe classes. A great sight they make around this sort of home of KTM these days. KTM and Red Bull have a great link, and they do a lot of testing here, and I know this GT4 car that these cars are all based on, there was a lot of testing done at this place, and of course KTM now starting to make the move towards GT3 with the GT3 homologated car that is competing in GT Open this weekend. So it's a big weekend for KTM, and a better track than the Red Bull Ring to see these cars in full flow. So Chris Rosenberger then on the pole position for this race, but Chris, as the only GT4 car out there, is almost guaranteed a class win. I think the bulk of the action is going to come from the Expo Cup Europe competitors a bit further back. The highest placed of those on the grid is the number 83 car that starts 6th on the grid, and that is Tamino Bergmeyer, and alongside him Rick Boothorn in the 85 machine. So they're the top two cars in the Expo Cup Europe grid, and as they head around the double left-hander here on this warm-up lap, it will be a 25-minute race when we do eventually get going. Drivers working hard to try and get some heat into the tyres, and it is quite warm out there, but these tyres still take a little bit of work just to get them up to the prime operating temperature. And once they get there though, hopefully they won't overwork them, because this is an abrasive circuit, one that can test the tyres to their absolute limits. So pulling up 2 by 2 then, heading into the final couple of corners, and what a great formation that is. It'll be interesting to see just how much of an edge Chris Rosenberger has in that GT4 spec KTM that's had success around the world in GT4 category of racing. And it looks a little bit like a spaceship, really, doesn't it? These are very futuristic designs for the KTM Crossbow. KTM Crossbow battle here about to get underway at the Red Bull Ring, and side by side out of the final corner for the rolling start then. So as soon as the red lights go out, we will be away and racing for 25 minutes. And up towards the start-finish line. Oh, the second row of the grid getting a little bit ahead of themselves there, but they do all go. The green light is shown. It's side by side for second place into turn one, but Chris Rosenberger has the lead on the inside line, sweeping round the outside there. That's the green number 9 car of Christian Schaffer, who ends up out onto the runoff area. Rejoins in third place. Battle on then for the race lead. Rosenberger not getting away. I think that is Joseph Kohler in the number 5 car that is challenging the GT4 car, more aerodynamic in a straight line, is able to get away from him as they head into the braking zone at turn 3. Side by side for fourth there. That's Bob and George Silbermeyer trying to find a way through. Main thing is though they've all got safely through the first half a lap or so. They now make their way down the hill again into the braking zone at turn 4. Challenge there for third position, and that's Christian Schaffer losing that third place, and a big lock-up further back. One car runs out very wide, almost into the gravel. Gathers it back together, but what's going on for third? They're still wheel to wheel here. Schaffer has the inside line now, and the green machine will stay in front. It is that number 1 car, isn't it, of Bob Bow right behind the Elite Championship leader, but certainly not the leader of the class at the moment. So over the hill, and yeah, Chris Rosenberger, I expected that car, especially around this circuit where straight line speed is so important, did expect that GT4 car to have more of an edge, so we could be in for a pretty close race here at the front. Out of the final corner they go. Through the turns, the lighter cars behind are definitely a little bit quicker, but Joseph Kohler is not going to have an easy time getting through. Onto the brakes they go then. Rosenberger leads, Kohler second, Schaffer third, Bow is fourth, George Silbermeyer in 5th position. And leading in the Expo Cup Europe is Rick Boothorn in the 85. And Leon Vassatura has got through into second place ahead of Tomino Bergmeyer, so change there for second in the Expo Cup Europe. Leading group of 5 though, really making its way down the hill, and again it's the battle for third, isn't it, that is attracting most of the attention here as Bob Bow tries to go around the outside of Christian Schaffer into the braking zone. No way through there though, so the green car hangs on to the place. The double apex left-hander. These 5 starting to pull away now, as you'd expect from the Expo Cup Europe cars. The second car's pretty much the same, but more experienced drivers in the elite category. Fastest first sector was set by Bob Bow on this lap, but Chris Rosenberger quick in the middle sector, and that's the section of track where that car is able to stretch its legs a bit more. Bob Bow now falling back into the clutches of George Silbermeyer. Silbermeyer, second place in the Elite Championship, 2 second places last time out at the Slovakia Ring. Both of the victories went to Bob Bow, but in the Expo Cup Europe, the wins were split between Boothorn and Jan Ries. Jan Ries up into third now, so he is 8th overall, this is, but 3rd place within his class ahead of Tomino Bergmeyer. Race leaders head up the hill again towards the braking zone at turn 3, and the trouble for Joseph Kohler here is that although he is much quicker through the corners and he can brake a lot later than Chris Rosenberger, he's just not close enough when they get to the braking zone to actually have a go at getting through. So his main way of getting through here might be to try and force a little mistake out of Rosenberger, maybe compromise his speed onto the straight, and then maybe he'll have a better chance of attacking into the next corner. 8th place battle coming through. Now that's Tomino Bergmeyer and Jan Ries. So Bergmeyer had fallen behind Jan at the start of the lap, but he had his back, he's back ahead of him now into the middle sector. As for second position, Joseph Kohler and Christian Schaffer now start to really do battle. This is for the lead of the elite category. And they're just losing a little bit of ground now, aren't they, to Chris Rosenberger in front, and Christian Schaffer is up the inside and goes through. Second place then, so he was teeing that up for a couple of corners, but only a lap ago, remember. I was commenting on how Schaffer was actually under pressure from Bob Baur, but he's been able to obviously shake him off and move through into second. So Christian Schaffer, the number 9 car, gets through into P2. And then works its way into the slipstream, trying to stay as close to the race leader as possible. But, no way into turn 3 that he's going to dive up the inside. Be interesting to see how maybe tyre wear comes into play here as well. It could be that that GT4 car uses its tyres a bit more than the lighter elite class cars behind. This is, as I said, quite a hard track on tyres, so maybe there is something to be said here for just pacing yourself. If you're Christian Schaffer or Josef Koller, you don't need to take too much life out of your tyres at this stage. Bob Baur now moving into the tail of Koller as well, so Bob Baur, the dominant driver, really, the Austrian driver in the elite category last time out, only 3rd in class at the moment. Try and do something about that towards the end of this, the 4th lap of the race. Everyone's still running as well, which is good news. No one falling by the wayside in the early stages. Long race, no point in getting too carried away early on. Like Josef Koller is struggling to live with the pace of those around him now. Look at the way that Christian Schaffer has caught Chris Rosenberger. Fastest lap of the race, actually, for Schaffer that time. 1:37.618, so he was a full 4/10 quicker, just over 4/10 quicker actually, than the race leader, and he's getting away now from Koller behind, so 2 for the lead, and then 3 cars really scrapping over 3rd position. Make their way back up the hill again. Hard on the brakes. Slightly wider line there for Schaffer, trying to carry the speed off the corner. Really important that you are careful on the throttle there, though, coming out of turn number 3, because it's over a pretty steep crest. Easy to lose the rear of the car. Turn now through the right-hander at turn 4, and it does look as though Schaffer might have a chance here, because we're now heading into that middle sector, which is where you would expect he would be a bit quicker. Jinx to the inside there into turn 6. So that was more to try and distract the leader, I think, than actually find a way through. 17 minutes then left on the clock in round number 3 of the KTM Crossbow Battle. First race from the Red Bull Ring. Track that all of the drivers would love to get a race victory out, I'm sure. Short season this as well. I think there are only 6 races in 2020 because of the slightly delayed start to the season, so points are more important than ever really this year. Important then that the drivers who are fighting for championships are mindful of consistent performances in the Cup Europe element of the race. By the way, Rick Buthorn still leads from in 2nd place Leon Vossatura. 3rd is Tamino Bergmeier. So Bergmeier's fended off Jan Ries for now, but Ries, as I said, had this 10-point championship lead over Buthorn coming into the race, but obviously that's about to be decreased. Through the middle sector, things just calming down a little bit now, maybe, as they start now to maybe enter into a bit of a tyre management phase. Everyone's so close together in this leading group that the slightest mistake will see you tumbling down the order, so still a high-pressure situation here. All of these cars, with the exception of the GT4 car, of course, are identical, so finding that last sort of 1/10 of a second that you need to close in and overtake the car in front of you will be all the hard to find. See what the lap times are like then. Fastest middle sector for Rosenberger, but Schaffer is quicker, although they set almost identical lap times within 1/1000th of each other. Chris Rosenberger with a 1:37.292. It was a 37.291 for Christian Schaffer, who set the fastest fastest final sector of anybody. And so it is Schaffer credited with the fastest lap, but they are almost matching each other, and they are a couple of tenths at least quicker than those behind. 2 tenths quicker than Josef Koller, 3 tenths quicker than Bob Baur, and about half a second faster than George Silbermeyer. Very close this time though. Look, Christian Schaffer has really gained on the leader through the first half of this lap. But again, just by the end of the straight, the GT4 car has pulled just that extra car length or so. Makes it harder. Oh, someone's in the gravel. Oh no, and that's Schaffer. Christian Schaffer has spun coming out of turn number 4. And did he make contact with the barriers? That's the next question. No, he's carried on, so no damage done, but that really lets Chris Rosenberger off the hook. Christian Schaffer then from second position now starts falling down the order. He's rejoined in 5th, but that's the last of the elite class drivers. And Christian just appeared to have got a wheel wide onto the gravel. And once you do that, it's very difficult to avoid the spin, really. So all of a sudden, Chris Rosenberger has nearly a 2.5 second cushion over Josef Koller, who's back into second, and Bob Baur into third, and there's the back end of it. So did well to avoid that barrier, didn't he? That could have ended up being a lot worse. But no damage to his car, but certainly to his chances of winning the race or even getting a podium, because he is, well, actually he's 8.8 seconds off the lead, 5.8 seconds behind George Silbermeyer in 4th, but capable, I would say, of lapping quicker than them. So it might be a bit much to ask for him to catch them in the next 13 minutes, but stranger things have happened. And well, we'll see what his lap times are like in the first sector on this lap. Christian Schaffer with a 37.2 again is matching the, with a 24.1, excuse me, is actually 3 tenths quicker than the leader. So he might actually be able to catch back up to this group, especially if they start to do battle, which is exactly what they're doing. Bob Baur the inside of Josef Koller for second place. Oh, that was close into turn number 6. Side by side again, almost into turn 7. Just too far back though, and Josef Koller hangs on. But if these three start to delay each other with a battle, that will only help Christian Schaffer close in. And Schaffer has set the fastest middle sector of anybody on this lap. And I noticed on the previous lap, he spun in the middle sector, and then, angry with himself, he set the outright fastest final sector as well. So Christian Schaffer, there's no doubt about it, is the fastest car on the track, but he's 5.1 seconds off the 4th place car even. So let's see what the lap times are then. Rosenberger, the leader, does a 1:38.7, which is 1.2. No, it's 2.2 seconds slower than Schaffer in 5th, who sets the new fastest lap, 1:36.558. So Christian Schaffer absolutely could still catch this group. He still has 11.5 minutes to go. So there you can see him in the distance, the green car in 5th place, but that is the fastest car on the racetrack by quite a long way. Admittedly, the leader did not have a good lap last time. He was actually slower than all of the cars immediately behind him, 38.7 for Chris Rosenberger, but even so, that's impressive for Christian Schaffer to have taken that amount of time out of him. Now, mistake for Josef Koller. Runs wide at turn 4. He was under pressure from Bob Baur there. Baur has a good run out of the corner through turn 5, which is flat out, then on the brakes into 6. And the number 1 car tried this a lap ago. He's got the inside line properly this time and will now head through. So change for second. Bob Baur ahead of Josef Koller. And because of this, they're holding each other up even more. On this lap already, Christian Schaffer has taken about 2 tenths out of this group, but he's actually taken even more time out of the race leader. Oh, and now George Silbermeyer has a go on the inside of Koller as well. It's the orange car that ran second early on, then fell down to third, then got back to second after Chris Rosenberger's problems, and now it's back down to third again. Look at Christian Schaffer then, so the gap, well, let's see, the lap time for George Silbermeyer, oh, we'll get to that in a moment, because Silbermeyer's actually up the inside here, going for third, can't do it. So George Silbermeyer's last lap time, a 1:38.1, it was a 36.9 for Schaffer. Schaffer is now 3.1 seconds behind this group, and they're side by side again in front of him, as Silbermeyer goes to the outside of Josef Koller on the brakes into turn number 3. Hard to go the long way round here, but you can sometimes cut back to a late apex, which is what he does, and carries more speed off the corner. That was beautifully done from George Silbermeyer, because now he has the inside line on the run back down the hill into turn number 4. So third place now belongs to the number 7 car. He doesn't need the inside line, actually. He's got the move made before they hit the brakes. And in the first sector on this lap, they are 8/10 slower than Christian Schaffer behind them, who has set a personal best in the first sector. Give him another lap, and I think he'll be with these two, won't he? He's quite a lot quicker than the cars around him. There goes Josef Koller then. 4th position, Christian Schaffer chasing him down. Middle sector time for Schaffer is another 9/10 quicker. Might even be with them by the end of this lap at this rate. Lead gap 1.6 seconds. Now Bob Baur in second place is lapping quicker slightly than Chris Rosenberger. So although Rosenberger has led every lap of this race, he's at no point been the fastest car on the track. There's always been someone behind him closing the gap, and the gap comes down by 6/10 that time. It's a personal best lap for Bob Baur, whereas Rosenberger is lapping about 7/10 off his best. So is this tyres? Is this the heavier, more powerful GT4 car starting to eat through its tyres a bit quicker? See the rate of progression there. Bob Baur 7/10 quicker on the most recent lap, but he's been quicker for the last 3 laps, ever since he got into second place, basically. And there, look, Christian Schaffer is with them. So Schaffer needs to try and clear those two as quickly as he can. If he can do that within the next couple of laps, he might just have time to close on the leaders. He'll also be watching with interest to see whether Bob Baur can get ahead of Chris Rosenberger, because if he can, equally Bob could be able to pull away. It's not all over yet for Christian Schaffer. So down into the valley they go. Red Bull Ring situated in a valley between sets of mountains here in the Spielberg area of Austria. Down the hill into the last corner, and as the leading pair come onto the pit straight closer than ever, Christian Schaffer is also right with Silbermeyer and Koller. So we've got 2 cars for the lead and 3 cars, look at that, nose to tail for third place in the background. This is very, very close indeed. The lead does not change as they go through turn 1. What about 3rd, 4th and 5th? Look how close they are now. Christian Schaffer has caught them, but now, as the old saying goes, catching is one thing, passing is another. And Christian Schaffer has got the difficult job now, finding a way past those 2 cars. It looks as though Josef Koller is trying to come back at George Silbermeyer here, runs a bit wide into turn 3. And yeah, that compromises the exit. So this is Christian Schaffer's chance to try and take 4th place away. He's in the slipstream, pulls to the left-hand side of the road because Josef Koller was always going to defend the inside. And Schaffer on the brakes, on the outside line. Again, can't sweep right round the outside at turn 4, so he tries to tee up a good exit, and he gets it, and Josef Koller slows all of a sudden. That looked like a missed gear to me. The car stopped accelerating all of a sudden, but it's back up to speed now, so I think he missed a gear or went into neutral or something, because the car, as I say, is running well now. That was, in the end, a much easier pass for Christian Schaffer than we anticipated. Now, of course, he's losing a bit of time to the race leader. The last lap for Schaffer was a 36.9, which was a tenth slower than Chris Rosenberger, because he's no longer able, Christian Schaffer, to run at the pace that he would like, ideally. He's having to follow other cars around. This is why I said he needs to clear George Silbermeyer quickly. We've got 5 minutes to go. That's only time for another 2 to 3 laps, so this is an important move. Can he do it on the brakes into turn 3? He might be close enough to send it up the inside, but Silbermeyer was just about far enough ahead. This is where Schaffer was so quick a lap ago. Gets in that slipstream, down the hill. It's a bit of a headwind as well, going down into turn number 4. Further aids the slipstream. Again, although he's able to force George Silbermeyer to defend on the way into the corner, he's not really able to draw alongside on the exit. And there's no similar mistake for Silbermeyer that Josef Koller made a lap ago. Silbermeyer not putting a foot wrong here in his defensive third position, and as each corner goes by, I think this is definitely hurting Christian Schaffer's chances of catching the top 2, who are still in the same order, by the way. Chris Rosenberger ahead of Bob Baur. The gap stable now at about 0.7 of a second. On the previous lap, though, actually, Rosenberger was half a second quicker, so he pulled back away again. Leaders out of the final corner. Third place battle, I should say, out of the final corner, and Christian Schaffer is definitely going to try and have a go here. Into turn 1, looks to the inside, but you don't do a lot of braking into turn 1. It's a surprisingly fast corner, and it's quite a steep uphill braking zone, so you can brake a bit later than you might expect. Again, he's got the run, but Silbermeyer is always going to cover the inside line. How brave is Christian Schaffer on the brakes? He's ahead at the timing beam, and he has actually gone through. Nicely done. He's a bit wide, though. I thought he was a bit late on the brakes, but he gets good traction off the corner, and Christian Schaffer finally has broken through into third. But has the damage been done? He's nearly 5 seconds behind the leader now, and I don't think he's going to have time to get there with 3 minutes, just under 3 minutes left on the clock. Fastest lap still belongs to Schaffer, which he set on the 8th lap of the race, which was just after his spin. I have to say, though, had he not had the spin, he almost certainly would have got the lead from Chris Rosenberger, and I don't think there's anything Rosenberger could have done to stop him, so Christian Schaffer really did rather throw away this race. Penultimate corner onto what should be the penultimate lap of the race. I'll give you the lap times, but like I say, I don't think it's going to matter much, because the starting point for Schaffer is about 5.3 seconds. That's the gap between him and the leader. The leaders, Rosenberger and Bob Baur, are exactly 1 second apart, and Schaffer is about half a second quicker than them. But in fact, no, he's only a 10th quicker that time, excuse me, so a 10th quicker than the race leader, with 2 laps to go. And he's 4.8 behind the lead car. Lead battle might not quite be over yet either, because Chris Rosenberger has still got that close attention from Bob Baur in the Crossbow Cup Europe part of the race, by the way. Still Rick Boothorn leads the way by just over a second from Leon Mastatura. And Tamino Bergmeier still in third, right behind him. Jan Ries is fourth, and Stefan Ramster is fifth, ahead of Daniel Drexel, Clemens Drexel, and Tomasz Wallace at the back of the field, although those two are quite some way behind the rest of the pack. So race leader then there, he is the GT4 spec KTM Crossbow of Chris Rosenberger. First sector on this lap, Bob Baur was a 10th quicker. He was a couple of hundredths quicker in the middle sector. I don't think he's quite got enough here to come back at Bob Baur, the leader. Comes through now to see the last lap board and the final lap of this first KTM Crossbow battle race of the weekend. begins. The gap is down to about 8.5 tenths now. If there are any mistakes here from Chris Rosenberger, then Bob Baur will pounce, but as I've said all race long, that GT4 car has the straight line speed advantage. It's going to be very hard for Bob Baur to get close enough to attack. And behind them, Christian Schaffer, I think, has had to admit defeat. He was a couple of tenths quicker than the leader last time, but that gap is still 4.6 seconds. So yeah, that's not really doable. Down the hill, this gap looks like it's coming down a bit, doesn't it, actually, on the run into turn number 4. It actually went out slightly in the first sector, but this middle sector is the one where the tyres are working the hardest. And that might be the opportunity for Bob Baur to close in, but although he is closing, there are then very few overtaking opportunities from this point to the flag. So Rosenberger should have this, heads up the hill, drops down into the penultimate corner then, the first KTM Crossbow battle race of the weekend. The third round of the championship looks as though it is going to be won by the GT4 spec KTM Crossbow of Chris Rosenberger, who comes out of the final corner and will take the checkered flag to win the first race of the weekend by, in the end, just 7 tenths of a second over Bob Baur in second. Christian Schaffer in third, George Silbermeyer was fourth, and Josef Koller rounding out the top 5. There he is, and the orange car really backed off towards the end of the race. And then we wait for the Expo Cup Europe leader to come through, which should still be Rick Buthorn. I think he was 1.3, nearly 1.4 seconds clear of Tamino Bergmeier at the start of the lap. There he is, the number 85 car comes through and wins in the KTM Crossbow Cup Europe race with Tamino Bergmeier second. And so what happened to Jan Ries? Jan Ries was second a couple of laps ago, and he's actually dropped down to 4th place in the end, behind Leon Wassertura. So Jan Ries then 4th in class, and Stefan Ramsder 5th. So there was a bit of late drama, I think, there for the championship leader. Whether he will still be the championship leader, I'm not sure now, because obviously he's lost quite a lot of points to Rick Buthorn, who takes the win. You get 25 points for a race victory, and you get 14 points for finishing 4th in class. So I think that means that, Buthorn's going to take the championship lead by a point going into tomorrow's second race, which is interesting. In the Cup Europe part of the race, obviously. Didn't see much of them because the racing at the front amongst the elite cars and the GT4 car was far too entertaining to take our eyes away from it. So the cars then heading back towards the start-finish line. The last 2 cars have just crossed the line, by the way, Clemens Drexel and Thomas Wallash. So all 13 cars that started got to the flag in one piece, which is what we like to see. It's an entertaining race there. It's always nice when you've got a bit of variety in these one-make championships, and having that GT4 car here is giving us exactly that. So there is confirmation of the result then. Chris Rosenberger with the win, Bob Baur second, Christian Schaffer third, George Silbermeyer 4th, and Josef Koller in 5th position. Then Rick Buthorn wins in the Cup Europe part of the race with Leon Wassertura second. Jan Ries was third in the end, ahead of Tamino Bergmeier. So yes, Tamino Bergmeier, I think, has been given a time penalty of some sort because the timing screen has just changed itself around. So, Jan Ries is still second then and will hold on to the championship lead. Stefan Ramsder rounds out the top 10. Daniel and Clemens Drexel are 11th and 12th, respectively. And Thomas Wallash rounds out the 13 finishers. So that is how our first KTM Crossbow battle race of the weekend played out. And the Red Bull Ring certainly providing lots of action, unexpected moments. That's the car that arguably should have won the race, that of Christian Schaffer. And as far as the elite class points are concerned, he had a pair of third places last time out, so back in the same position again. Here are some of the highlights then of the race, and at the start of the race it was Chris Rosenberger on the pole position that held on to the lead. Christian Schaffer ran wide at turn 1, but managed just about to hang on to the third place. There was an attack on the inside into turn 4, but that was to no avail, as one or two of them tripped over themselves into the corner. Then the race started to settle into a rhythm, with Christian Schaffer getting himself ahead of Josef Koller into second place and chasing down the race leader. But just as he'd caught the leader, Schaffer made a mistake. He spun coming out of turn 4 and fell back down to 5th place. Then the battle was on between Bob Baugh in the white number 1 car and the orange number 5 of Josef Koller. Koller started to fade as the race went on. Christian Schaffer was able to catch this group again and eventually worked his way through into third place with a couple of nice moves up and around turn 3, but didn't have time to chase down the leaders. At the front, it remained close to the flag, only 0.4 of a second separating Chris Rosenberger and Bob Baugh at the flag. It was Rosenberger that won overall. Bob Baugh won in the elite class, and in the Expo Cup Europe, Leon Wasserchira is credited with the race victory. So great racing all round from the KTM Crossbow Battle. They'll be back out for race number 2 tomorrow.